So I often reflect on what leads to successful adults as a parent and as well as somebody that's been sort of struggling to think about performance and success and all those kind of things for a long time. I think about what it is that leads to successful adulthood. And I think it's really important to sort of consider a lot of different sort of factors. We might sort of consider the fact that people have, if you give people opportunities and resources as kids, then they will end up doing really well in their life. Honestly, that might be a way to think about it, but it's often maybe not the case. If you give people resources and opportunities, they might not end up doing the things that you imagine them to have. So then you might think about, well, maybe if we take away things, we take away all these different resources, we're going to give them grit if we do that. If we allow people to live in a very austere surrounding and environment, then they are going to do a lot with themselves. And that may be true as well, right? They might garner some grit and do some really wonderful things because of grit, but that's not true either. I want to sort of talk about myself, and I'm not saying that I am somehow successful or well-adjusted or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just want to sort of talk about my family in terms of where we were and what ended up happening. So when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot. My family, we had, there's many kids running around in my family. My parents, they didn't make a lot of money in any sort of way. My dad just worked at a pulp and paper mill as an operator, very blue collar, and he didn't have that much money growing up. They were immigrants to Canada, like really hardcore immigrants to Canada, doing the homestead thing. My mom's side, they did not have any money at all. My grandmother was an orphan. So it was a real struggle for all of us in terms of a family, an extended family, to sort of deal with this. One of my side, my dad's side, probably was more financially successful in many different ways than my mom's side, but they were very financially successful too. And what we might sort of think about with all of this, we might sort of think about, well, because I didn't have that much money and all that kind of stuff growing up, then I would be really focused on being successful because we didn't have that much money, right? And then it's because of the fact that we didn't have that much that I'm really wanting to become successful. Well, that is a possible reason for what is going on in my life. That's a possible reason. But I also had a lot more opportunities and resources than many other people that I saw growing up. And even today, I do have a certain color of a skin. I'm male. There's lots of different things. I speak English. I have a lot more opportunities than many other people around the world to do really, amazing things. But that's not really why I do the things that I do and why I ended up doing the things that I do. Well, I look back and I think, what was the real defining moments in my childhood? What was it that made me feel good? And to be honest, it was because my parents loved me for who I was. And being raised in a family where you feel comfortable with who you are. And now I know that my family was not perfect. They had a lot of things that I would not agree with today. There's a lot of things I would not agree with what my dad did, what my mom did. But at the same time, we all knew, everybody in our family knew that we all were loved. And that was it. We knew that no matter what ended up happening, and we screwed our lives up in many different ways, and we all did, right? We're all kind of a little messed up in different ways. We all know that we were loved. And I think that in of itself is the advantage that many people don't have. And they grow up in families even if they're extremely wealthy, they don't have that feeling of being loved and being cared for, or that there was some sort of conditional love that was going on. We didn't have that conditional love in any sort of way. It was, no matter what ended up happening, you were okay. And we were always loved. They didn't agree with some of the things that we were doing as kids, and we didn't agree with some of the things that they were saying, but everybody had a mutual respect. Now, that doesn't mean that we were all quiet and all that kind of stuff. No, we were a really loud, screamy family. It was a disaster. But we all knew that we were loved by everybody else. And we didn't say that all the time. It wasn't like a lovey-dovey and, hugs and all that kind of stuff. It was a wink and a nod. And that was the important thing for us and for me to grow up to become who I am today. And I think we need to sort of realize that in terms of where we are going and who we are as individuals is not the fact that it's the resources that are given to you and it is, all of these opportunities, or the resources that are not given to you, where you don't have a lot of opportunities and a lot of different money things that are given to you, all these kind of stuff. That's not what matters, right? I didn't go on trips to New York, and our big trip was going to Winnipeg, Manitoba, and that was our big thing. I still remember that, going and staying. It was an amazing opportunity to go stay at the hotel. It was a motel that had a pool, and that was the big vacation that we had. So all of these kind of things, it didn't matter what we had and what we didn't have. We just knew that we were loved. And even when we screwed up and we did stupid things, we were loved. And I think that is the recipe. It has nothing to do with, the grit and the individual personalities that everybody has. And there's a part of it. Like, there's a little tiny part of it. But the big thing is knowing that no matter what you do and who you are, people are going to love you. And people are going to be there for you. And I think we need to work on that, where we need to change how we view the world. The world is not nice to you. It really is not. It's rough. People are going to cheat and steal and do all sorts of really nasty things to you all the time. That's what happens. People are not well adjusted. Most people are not well adjusted. But what you need to realize is that you can be. If you want to sort of change who you are and give people opportunities, what you need to do is realize that you can change this. You can be a good person and love the people that are around you no matter what you're doing. And even if you don't, and it's hard to do. I'm saying that this is hard, right? Life is hard. This part of it, really hard. But what you need to do is take a step back and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to try every day so that everybody in my family feels like they are loved at least a little bit all the time. And maybe some days it's going to feel like they're picking on me and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to come back and we're going to work on this. Or some days I'm going to get angry and I'm going to go for a walk and remove myself from that situation so I can come back with a cool head. All of these things, that life stuff that happens to you, that's the secret. That really is the secret. So everybody feels well adjusted. And guess what? It's not about getting to the moment where you have these successful kids that are doing wonderful things in kindergarten and first grade and 8th grade, and they're all the top in their class and all that. That's garbage. That is absolute garbage. You're setting yourself up and you're setting your kids up to feel bad about themselves in the future. What matters is that you are trying as a family unit to work on everybody that's there. And I think that is the important lesson that we need to take away, that we're all kind of working together to make us all better, so that when the world hits us, right, we have this us versus them. When the world hits us, that we are going to come back and push back against the world. Now, some of you might say, hey, wait a minute, that's nice because you had a family growing up. All you need is one person in that family. That's you. where you think about me versus the world. And I am going to go and tackle the world myself. And I'm going to push back against the world where I am going to be a well-adjusted person. And I'm going to be happy with who I am at this moment and smile when somebody tries to put me down and say, that's nice. I'm okay with who I am today. Maybe you're not. Remember, when people put you down in any sort of way, hurt people hurt other people. And you as an individual, a single person, a single family, doesn't have to put up with that. And that's where you go home, you come back and you figure out how you were adjusted. And then you come back and you get ready to fight that battle. You fight the world around you. So just keep working on that. Doesn't mean you have to be happy every day and happy-go-lucky and all that kind of stuff. That's nonsense. That's not real life. It doesn't mean that you have to live in a quiet family or a family that hugs and kisses and does all that kind of garbage and all that kind of stuff. That's nice. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying like that's some people's families. Might not be yours. But as long as everybody is working on being a well-adjusted human being and working on themselves, like thinking like, hey, wait a minute, I am not complete. I can keep working on this. I'm not fixed. I'm not a fixed person. I'm not this person that does not change, but I work on this stuff and I grow and develop and I try to help out other people. And as soon as you get that down, where it's you versus the world, then you could deal with a lot of stuff that the world throws at you and you're still okay inside. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.